Hello up here, internet. Welcome back to Brakken Landing for the final time that I build in this park. So yeah, we're gonna build a intimate vertical lift coaster for our finale coaster. A lot of coaster in this sentence, you know. But yeah, this is very much inspired by Fahrenheit at Hershey Park, and to a lesser extent I-305 at King's Dominion. Now, it's also sort of inspired by Maverick too, which, you know, gotta get the inspiration in. But yeah, you'll see where it's inspired by Maverick in a minute, because I sort of directly ripped it off in several ways. But yeah, so we're ripping off some stuff. We are going to make an awesome, phenomenal layout that some would say is too intense. Now, there is something on Discord that I found. Somebody sent. It was a chart with like permitted ride forces, and I also looked at I-305's G-force POV, so I could see the G-force data, and that thing was taken on a I believe a earlier ride in the morning, so it's probably gonna run way faster. I-305 reaches about 4.5 Gs. This one reaches about 5.2, I think. So it is a fair bit more. However, it's for like a split second in the valley out of the Norwegian loop, which we just built. So it is perfectly fine. At least I think. It's probably fine. I'm not changing it, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's fine. There's a lot. It's a very lateral heavy ride too. But you know, this is probably one of my best layouts in a while. I wanted this ride to be very different from the Blitz coaster we built a while ago. So this has to be an old gen coaster. One, because Intamin doesn't really make these anymore. I mean, they only made one for a while, and then they built a random one recently, kind of recently. Well, it's not really recent, but it was recent enough. I think it was actually only a couple years ago, so yeah, it was recent. But yeah, so I want this very much be over intense and old gen Intamin. So yeah, we had to make this ride very special for this park, because it just needs something. There's like this big plot of land that needs some ride in this place, and this is what I chose. So yeah, I wanted this ride to be very different from the Blitz coaster, so I decided to make it, instead of focusing on whatever it was instead of focusing on like airtime and inversions and stuff like the Blitz coaster did, we're gonna focus on whip and positive G's. So mostly positive G's, because there is a lot of really tight turns in this ride. That being one of them. Except this is a past layout, so I'm showing you all layouts I did. It's only 15-minute time lapse. There's no custom sports in this time lapse too, because that took forever and I didn't record most of it on purpose. I knew it would take forever, so yeah. Then I think... So, the problem I had with this layout was, one, I didn't really like the direction it was going, and so I like built myself into a corner right here. So, yeah, I would have had to just do a bunch of overbanks to get back to the station. So basically, I just said, you know what, screw this layout, we're going to do another one. And I did actually keep some of it. The Norwegian loop profiling has stayed the same since the beginning. Not even touch that thing. It also just lost a bunch of speed towards the end. It just got really slow. That hill was like where it like lost most of its speed. So yeah, I basically just said, you know what, screw that. We're gonna build a different layout after I finish this, because I did decide to finish this layout first. And it's an okay layout. Like, obviously, it's kind of mediocre. It's a very short ride, but then again, this is a really small plot of land. This is a very weird plot to work with, so you sort of just gotta try and make something work in this space, which is really hard. It's a lot more difficult than you'd think. So I just sort of struggled a while. There was a few options for this plot. Like, one of them was a mock hyper coaster, which, you know, would have been really cool. It would have been really inspired by Hyperia. I actually had a couple test layouts in mind. I believe I have one even written down. It wasn't to scale, it wouldn't have fit, by the way, so don't get mad at me. but the Mach Hyper just wouldn't have worked in this park at all. So I just made the decision to, you know what, I decided to just remove it, and it also wouldn't have made sense in timeline either. This is a very late 2000s coaster, so this would have made fit in timeline pretty well. But like in the recent years of the timeline, we have the Gravity Air Buddy, the Mach Water Coaster, the RMC, the Blitz Coaster. It wouldn't have made sense to have a third high thrill coaster right there. So I just decided, you know what, let's just not do that, and let's build a old coaster, you know, but this one sort of still packs a punch, because this is a very intense ride, by the way. I already said what it was. It's perfectly acceptable, and now there was a point where I reset the layout because I didn't like it. So it has the first of 4 time-lapse sections. Then we do a Heartline roll. I haven't done one of these in a while, so I thought, you know what, let's put one very low to the ground. So literally right above the ground. And there's enough clearance, I think. I don't really know, actually. Hopefully there is, but I think there is. There probably is. But yeah, so there's plenty of room, probably. I don't really know. Don't stick your hands up. Probably be a bad idea. But yeah, now we just get to watch it crash a bunch because I've went AFK. Yeah, so you have a Heartline roll. It's very much inspired by the one on Maverick, except this one's actually on the ride, and Mavericks isn't. Mavericks is now in a shop being sold as souvenirs and in pieces. So yeah, we're not that though, so we're not Cedar Point, so we're not going to remove our Heartline roll, and we're going to say screw the guest. This will probably be a sorta unpopular ride, sorta popular. This will definitely be a more crowded park than King's Dominion, so it's a decent chance that this does still remain popular. The thing on Maverick is very popular at Cedar Point, and this is very similar to Maverick, so no. I mean, it works. But yeah, I want this airtime hill to have a very tight crest, you know, just to launch you over that hill, give you some crazy airtime. And yeah, so we just needed this ride to make sense in this park, basically. And now I'm just trying to make a functional layout, which I honestly do like this maneuver too. Not this one. This one's trash. This one doesn't even say. So I was getting into like weird issues right here because there's not really much room here at all. Actually, I think I did keep something like this. It's very similar. It's just not that entry to it is weird and kind of sucks. Like it sort of banks in and then overbanks. And in the real version, you'll see it later, but it goes up into an airtime hill and then banks out, sort of at the same time. So now I'm just trying to get this to make sense because this is a very tight plot of land right here. This real layout does not go there, by the way. Don't worry about it. It's not going to stay right there, and I don't like that layout anyway. There's a lot of things I did to this layout that I wasn't really happy with, and I just decided to change a lot. Right here, there's the real maneuver that I went with. And then over that, before it does a vicious snap under, not really vicious, just a snap underneath the Norwegian Loop's entrance and sort of, I guess, pull up. So yeah. Now it looks good on the skyline. I really like the way I framed the I really like the way I framed the Norwegian Loop and Lift Hill. That was the intention right here. I wanted this thing to be a very good coaster for the skyline, which is actually one of the reasons why I didn't want to do it. Why I scrapped the Mach Hyper. It just killed the skyline. And yeah, I originally wanted this thing to go over here and sort of do its thing and just mess around, but like it wouldn't have made sense. It would have had to go underground into a tunnel underneath the path just to get anything to work here. So I was like, you know what, screw this. Let's just move the layout. We just moved it back on that side specifically. Now there is, I think, a restaurant right there. Oh, the park is done, so it would have valued out of that inversion. Yeah. No, it didn't. It barely made it. Yeah. So this is 10 times speed, by the way, so it's 15 minutes, but it's also like 2.5 hours of work just to make the layout, and then 2 meter smooth it. Which honestly, I was considering 1 metering it, but like, wouldn't have made much sense. And then right here, I originally had a snapping S hill, except it didn't really flow right, I don't think. So I changed that in a moment to an inversion. It's probably the most mediocre inversion on the ride, I'm not gonna lie. It does nothing. I mean, it does give some whip towards the top, but like, I was just trying to like sort of dodge the profiling is horrible, by the way. Like, the profiling is fine, but like, it just doesn't flow right. Well, no, it flows right, but it just looks weird, I'm trying to say, basically. It just looks weird from the side. Like, you can see this is like such a weird inversion to profile. That's sort of like where we get to at the end. I sort of like ended up going with like a rise up and then leveling out, doing the inversion, and then dropping down. It's very weird system. Then I fixed it a bunch of times because I didn't like it. And, you know, I'm much happier with it now than I was originally, but like, you know, I think it works. I'm very happy with this coaster, by the way. I really love it. It was such a fun coaster to build. I'm so happy this park is done now. Because, oh my goodness, this took so long to do. Like, there was a good 2-month break in between, so that's about 4 months of work going into this park. And yeah, it was a journey, but now it's done. And I mean, it's not completely done. I still gotta do a few more things. I gotta put area music in. I gotta put ride signs for this ride and the boomerang. I actually know what I'm gonna do for the boomerang. I have an idea for that. But, you know, just had to make the entire thing look good. Because looks over function. But yeah. So, it also, like, this area does a good job of obscuring the castle in the background. So that looks a lot less weird and out of place. And yeah, it just fits so well now. The entire park doesn't make sense. Like I'm trying not to like prop myself up, but like, or like sort of be like a narcissist, but like, I'm happy with how this turned out, like, and like, it just makes, like, the park just like fits now. There's a few areas I'm a little unhappy with, like the Blitz Coaster area. I was so happy with at the time I built it, but like, now I'm like, there's a few things that I kind of want to correct and fix because some of it just doesn't make sense and will almost certainly cut someone's head off. I think I'm just gonna do a clearance check to make sure I have plenty of room in those buildings, because it's the roofs. If I don't, I'm just gonna move them up, and I think maybe just raise the valley out of the top hat. I think that's probably the best thing I can do, because you could probably almost definitely touch the roof of that building with your hand or foot up to the speed hill, so I think I definitely gotta move that. I mean, like, nobody would go out of their way to try and do that, but like, some people are stupid, by the way, so, you know, like, if there are people still bringing their phones on rides, they are stupid. Like, don't bring your phone on rides, it's dumb. But yeah, so there is a couple more videos I do have planned. We're gonna do one more coaster build for just like a proper goodbye to this game, and then we're gonna do a video highlighting stuff I did in this game, just like saying goodbye. That's gonna happen the day before the Planet Coaster comes out, which I will do something that day. I actually think I think I'm just gonna upload my like first editing of my highlights of my first like couple hours of gameplay. Probably come out like sometime at night. I don't really know when. I'll figure it out. Either that or it's gonna go on the next day, because don't really have time that day. It's a Wednesday. Wednesdays are always chaotic for me. Especially right now, because I have band on Wednesdays, then I have church. It's a labor of love, but it's fun. I'm pretty sure band's over by the time the game comes out, though, so I should be fine. But yeah, so now we're just tuning the layout, you know, very simple, and it's actually almost done, so I'm going to shut my mouth and let you guys watch the last 5 seconds of time lapse. Alright, so this is the final episode of this park series, besides the tour. But we'll do that next week, and possibly do it live. I'm not really sure about that, but maybe. But yeah, the final episode of this park series where we build stuff in. So yeah, here's the coaster. It's an intimate vertical lift coaster. Think of Fahrenheit at Hershey Park. And I believe it's called Whale Breaking the Sky Coaster. Somewhere in China. Can't remember where. Don't really care where. Fahrenheit's better anyway. Or so I've been told. I haven't read it either. But yeah. So yeah, you go up the vertical lift. Then you go into a 100-degree drop, I think. Don't really know how steep it is. But yeah. Now, the first thing. This turn is very snappy. Now, it is snappy, but it's not too snappy. Think of I-305's little, airtime hill snap thing, where like you bank in, and then you bank out immediately after. You bank in, level out, bank in, and then bank again. So yeah, it's sort of like that, but the opposite. So yeah, it's perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. It's perfectly acceptable. So yeah, then you climb up into the Norwegian loop, which pulls some very good G's. I'm not gonna say how bad they are, because if I were to say that, some people would say that's too intense. You should fix that. It does not need fixing. And by it doesn't need fixing, I mean I'm not gonna fix it because I don't really care enough to. I want this part done, and it also looks just fine. It's just the bottom right here. If anything, I can just raise that up. But yeah, I'm not going to. Yeah, then you go out of the Norwegian loop. This transition, I've never done something like this, but it flows perfectly. I've never done a transition where it just banks at 45 degrees. It banks out and then levels out at 45 degrees, and then continues. It's always like it banks in and then immediately starts turning, or it banks to 0 and starts turning. Yeah, this is definitely flows really well though. So yeah, then you go into a flat turn, then a little drop into a very low to the ground Heartline roll. It's sort of like a mix of Maverick's old Heartline roll and Velocicoaster's Mosasaurus roll. Except this is definitely not as... It's definitely not as airtimey as the Mosasaurus roll. It's just very whippy and very intense. Yeah, then you do a Stangle dive with some interesting supports. Or just one interesting support. It's a very compact space. Don't blame me here. Actually do blame me. That should have a footer. Let's honestly fix that. That should have a footer right there. Yeah, these footers are also technically wrong, but I'm not gonna fix it just because I don't have. It doesn't really matter. It would be way more effort than it's worth just to fix it, because you'd have to change every single angled support into an angled one that goes into a straight one. I don't feel like fixing that, so we're just gonna deal with it. Squint. It's a footer, who really cares? So yeah, then you single dive, then you go into this whippy turn into a helix. I honestly really love doing these flat helixes. I don't really know why. They just always look so nice. I love it. Yeah, then you go into another snap into a camelback, which honestly, this thing gives some crazy airtime. Let's just wait for it, because holy crap, this thing gives some airtime. Look at this. You just get sent over that hill. Yeah, then you go into a little pop-up into a bank, which may look too lateral heavy. It's not. It rides perfectly fine. It rides good. I like it. Then it goes into an overbank, which does pull some good G's. A little snap out of it underneath the Norwegian loop supports. Which, this is a very messy area, by the way. Like, you can tell that I am a mess when it comes to sports. And that's hideous. That needs to be fixed immediately. I will fix that eventually. I'm just going to rotate the sport. So, yeah. Then you go down this way into another snap, into a heartline roll. This is the only part of the ride I'm really not happy with, and it's mainly just because of this exit of the element. This doesn't look right. I don't really like it. I might change it, I might not. I definitely want to keep the heartline roll though. I do like it. Flows right, just makes sense there. Then you do pop up into the brakes. So it's not a very long ride, which then again, it can't really be a long ride. There's like no room here. But yeah, there's not really any room here at all. You sort of just got to go in and you got to go out, and that's it. You don't have any room to work with. You just got to go for it. But yeah, so yeah, the brake run's right here. The transfer track is right here. This was to prove to somebody on Discord that this does in fact work. It works perfectly fine. This is the distance that the edge of this would have to travel. So yeah, that's the distance it has to travel. Those planks are going to get removed, so don't worry about that. But I was just making sure I have enough room right next to there, so this segment right here can move all the way over. And then the holding brakes right here, I'm probably gonna add another double section to the track just because this is probably not big enough for what it is. It needs to hold. There's 3 trains on the track. Now this is the exact same setup Fahrenheit uses, so it has 3 trains with no mid-course brake run. One train just always stacked on the brake run, ready to go into the station. Not really always stacked, like one's going up to level tail, one's loading, one's in the course, coming back, and the autosave kicks in. But yeah, so since the maintenance shed is, you can't really see it, but since the maintenance shed is going to be right next to the station, you have to do a same side exit and load strategy, which is fine, because this gives us the chance to use double-side lockers again. Have not used these in a few weeks. I think it was, the last time we did was the wing coaster. Wow, that was a while ago. Did I use them in here? No, I didn't. Yeah, so most of my designs just can't use it, so we have an opportunity to use them again. So we're going to use it. Because why wouldn't you? But yeah, so now this is a very low capacity ride by nature. Probably have around the same capacity as Fahrenheit, which is 800 riders an hour. Which, you know, is not ideal, but like, it's whatever. You can't really do anything about it. So yeah, this is going to be an Alpine themed coaster. Now, it's sort of like what we did in Menard Park with, what was it called? It was called, Meteor. I hate that name so much. It's such an awesome coaster. I love intimate accelerators, but the name sucks for that theme. So yeah, this one I do already have a name for. We're gonna reveal it at the end of the episode. Yes, I love it. Yeah, the sports took forever, by the way. So yeah, I'm gonna get to work now, and I will see you guys in a moment. Alright, it's been about a day, and it may look like a lot has changed, but I'm gonna tell you not much has. I mean, like, a good amount has gotten through, but like, we're still nowhere near done. I have realized I only have 1 week to finish this park now, before this video goes up, so I want to get this thing done as fast as possible, and while still maintaining the quality. So I'm already familiar with this theme. I've done it before. I've done it in Merrick Park. That was probably my favorite area in the park, besides maybe the pirate area, but there's still a few things I have issues in that pirate area. But yeah, so that was probably my favorite. Actually, no, the Gravity Group was my favorite area. Not the ride, but the general area of it was. But yeah, this is going well. We're getting somewhere with the build. I'm still not looking forward to doing these buildings. I don't know how I'm going to do them. I'm not excited for them at all. I don't want to do them. But I'm going to have to do them to get this park done. And there is a good amount of buildings. So you can see them. There's no ride photos. No room for this. I literally just realized that. Yeah, I just realized there's no ride photos. Yeah, that sucks, but there's no room for it, so I don't feel like modifying this entire area. So yeah, this is going to be a coaster that, unless I figured out how to modify it, is not going to have ride photos. Just simply because I forgot to put them in. Actually, I could probably put them right here. I honestly might do that. Yeah, I'll put them right here. Alright, so we're going to have ride photos. Ignore that. But yeah, I've done basically just the queue fencing, and this beautifully themed, like, turn into a lift hill. It's really just a bunch of rock work. You know, like, we did the western areas rock work last episode, and it looked so much better. So I was like, you know what? I saw somebody else do a bunch of mountainous rock work, so I'm just gonna steal it. This needs to be rock underneath of it. I don't know why it's not. But yeah, we have our beautiful shells for the alpine buildings. It'll look good when it's done, I promise. Right now it looks kind of hideous. But yeah, there's no chains on the fencing yet, but we do have this fence right here. Beautiful view of the hammer swing. So yeah, that looks good, I guess. But yeah, let's go over to the main entrance because this is how it's looking on the sightline. It looks pretty good. I do like it, honestly. I haven't actually looked at this yet, but like, you know, we're getting somewhere with this build. It looks crazy. And I think it has potential to be the best, one of the best areas in the park. So, yeah, let's get to work. Not get to work yet. I still got more explaining to do. So, yeah, what else did I do? Shells are up for all the buildings. We're gonna have a restaurant right here, gift shop right here. Did all the stuff right here. Now, I didn't really want to have a path cover on this path. I kind of just wanted to be in the in-game path, but like, the more and more I looked at it, the more and more it just felt out of place and lazy. So, because I was going to have a path cover over the queue line no matter what. So I was like, at that point, you may as well just, like, cover the entire thing. And I'm kind of glad I did. So, like, I've sort of come up with some lore in my head of what this sort of looked like. You know, it doesn't really line up right, so I probably could have done that better, but, like, I'm thinking that this would have been, like, the original part of the park. Like, this path would have, at some point, connected. Now, and it would have had, like, this general themed area throughout the entire thing. And this drop tower was put in before these two coasters were. These two areas. And then at some point in the early 2010, late 2000s, early 2010s, these two big chunky coasters were put in as big money opportunities. So, yeah. We got this. I have not recolored the drop tower. I'm probably going to do that. I might also just put it as channel colors, not going to lie. But yeah. So, looks nice. And now there is some things with the fencing. I have been told that I have found online that you would only need to fence as far as it's reasonable for guests to actually end up going. And I'm just going to say now, I live like in the middle of nowhere. There's trees all around my house, bushes everywhere. It is a pain to get through these bushes. You're not getting through these. Much less these trees. Like, you're not squeezing through here, and then you're not squeezing through here. Like, the only way you're getting into the right area if you're swimming, and that's your fault at that point. Which is not our problem. So, same thing over here. It's on a lake. There's not much I can do here. So, you sort of just gotta deal with it, basically. There's nothing I can do. But it looks good. I don't want to go all the way around just because it makes more sense to just cut it off at some point. And I also just think it looks better. So, yeah. I'm going to have foliage inside the ride area, too. It would be a decently established ride, probably about 10 to 15 years old at this point. You know, this probably would have opened around the same time as Fahrenheit. So, yes. I am loving this build, though. Like, I do gotta put the lift trough up there, but, like, just get some epic sightlines. Like, you know, this park has been an absolute labor of love. I almost canceled this project so many times, but, like, it has really come together. Especially when I started doing this side of the park, too. But, like, now, it's literally about to end. We have 1 week. I'm gonna try to get as much done as I can tomorrow, too, because I don't really have much time this week. So, we're going to try and get everything done this week. And, I mean, it's not the end of the world. I can do stuff before the tour, too, so. But, yeah. Next time you hear from me, this park will be essentially done. So, yeah. Let's get to work. Alright. This is a big moment for this channel. The park is done. Kinda. So, there's still a few things I need to do. However, I don't have time to do them this week, so I'm going to do them next week before the tour. That is just making signs for the boomerang, the vertical lift coaster, and something else. I forgot which one it was. possibly this one. This one has a name, by the way. I did start with that. It's called Von Karman Castle. Somebody suggested something on Discord. I like the general premise of it, but I decided to go with a different name for this part. So yeah, I'll put the message on the screen if I remember. But yeah, so let's go to this area. We're at the vertical lift coaster. It's done, and it's beautiful. I love it. So yeah, it has a name. It's Alpenmuller. It's just, I believe, means Alpine Howler, I think. I honestly might just rename it to Howler, but that's a kid's coaster name, but so I don't really want to. But yeah, it looks really good. We have that. And then now let's go through the queue line. The queue line. Forgot to put the sign up, but whatever. I'll have him paste it over in a minute. But yeah, fencing, you go right next to that. Beautiful. You go right underneath the Heartline roll into this little turn area. Get great views of the ride. Yeah, it's beautiful. Heartline roll right there. Drop right there. Holy crap, it looks very intimidating from right here. You go right up next to it, then you go underneath the lift and drop. So yeah, then you go down this way into a cattle pen, then into another cattle pen, into the double side locker bit. There should be a staff member here. I don't know why I didn't put one. It's very rushed. You know, I don't really have much time though. I gotta edit this video tomorrow and then put it out on Saturday. So I'm also very busy tomorrow, so I definitely want to get this video out. So yeah, we have the double side lockers right here. You go up the stairs into the station, where you have this, where you have 2 images, which first time I'm putting custom media inside the station, this park. So yeah, we did that, and I like it. So, which reminds me, so yeah, this is the station. It looks nice and I like it. But yeah, let's go into the castle, because it has custom media now. So yeah, this is just a vampire image I found off Google, so I painted it black. I painted the vampire as pitch black and the background white. Then I blurred it. And I did also change the photo to warm it up, but like it didn't really transfer when Blanco. Then you have this, which is just one of the Alpine mountain pictures, but colored. And here's another one, except this one looks more like trees. Which honestly I'm actually fine with. It looks cool. And I just have them expand around everywhere. But yeah, it looks definitely probably cooler at night. So let's check in this room, because this room now has images too, and it looks really cool. So now the dark ride's complete. So I'm actually going to keep it at night, because we're going to go see the night lights. Yes, it's beautiful. The park is gigantic. I love it. I'm so happy with how it turned out. Like I said, there's still a few things I have to do. I have to correct a few things, have to retrofit some buildings. I didn't do anything at Hunted. I do gotta add cameras everywhere. I completely forgot about that. Just seeing the camera made me think that. Yeah. Yeah, But yeah, yeah, so here's the ride photos. It's just another ride photo, except tiny because it only has 5 cameras. Here's the restaurant. I'm actually pretty happy with this one. The gift shop, I'm not too pleased with it, but it's okay. And yeah, we have the drop tower right here. Looks really good. Just tall, dominates the skyline. Far and away the tallest structure in the park. But yeah, it's beautiful. Look at it. Like 6 months of work done. Wow. It's only the second time I've actually completed a park for this channel, so like, just gotta think that like this feels good. I haven't felt this feeling since February. And yeah, I'm definitely a lot more happy with this park than I was in Merrick Park. There's definitely a few things in Merrick Park that I wanted to change since I made it. But yeah, so now I'm happy with this. I love it. Yes. But yeah, now that we're done, now that I am done jaw dropping at my own work, I think I should get on with it and give you guys a POV of this beautiful, intimate vertical lift coaster. Yes, I love it. So yeah, I forgot to show you the this room real quick. So yeah, this is this room. It's nothing special, you know. And there's also a couple things I forgot to show you. This stuff over here, and this stuff over here has clutter everywhere. So yeah, it's done. That is underground. It's just like live editing real quick. Let me just like raise that up. Is the other box truck like that? Because I hope it's not. Prefer it not be, you know, in the ground. Yes, it is. Okay. That is unfortunate. Let's fix that. Just fix this moment right here. Play with toy cars, in the game. And yeah, now the park is done. Sorta. Still gotta add area music to this area, this area, and this area. It's only 3, and the boomerang, so that's 4. This won't take that long. I have an entire week to do it, and I have off on Monday, so I'll have plenty of time. But the park is done, so yeah. I think rather than talk and ramble some more, let's just go on the ride and enjoy a nice POV of this beautiful coaster. I'll see you guys next time for the tour. Let's get a POV. Also, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe.